I'm Michaela.
And I'm Caleb, and today we'll be teaching the Spanish grammar concept of preterite. Preterite is used to refer to four main things: completed actions, single events, series of events, and interrupting actions. Some of the key phrases in the preterite concept are ayer, meaning yesterday, anteayer, meaning the day before yesterday, anoche, which means last night, el año pasado, which means last year, or any time frame, and un día, which means one day. In preterite form, the conjugation of AR, ER, and IR verbs change. In AR verbs in the yo form, the AR will be dropped and an E will be replaced. For the to form, you'll drop the AR and add the ending aste. For the el, ea, or usted form, you will add an O. For the nosotros form of an AR verb, you will add amos. And for the ellos, ellas, or ustedes form, you will add eran. And for the ER and IR verbs, it's the same. In the yo form, you drop the ER or IR and add I. In the to form, you drop the ER or IR and add iste. In the el, ea, or usted form, you add EO. And in the nosotros form, you add emos. And in the el, ea, or usted form, you add iran. An example of an AR verb conjugated in the preterite form is bailar. The first step in conjugating the AR verb into the preterite form, you drop the AR, and for the yo form, you add an E with the accent over it. For the to form of the same verb, you would drop the E or AR, and you would add aste, which would mean you danced. For the third person form of bailar and preterite conjugation would be bailó, meaning he or she danced. The nosotros preterite conjugation of bailar would be bailamos, which means we danced. And lastly, to conjugate bailar in the preterite form, for the ellos, ellas, or ustedes form, would be bailaron. An example conjugating an ER verb in the preterite form is comer. To conjugate comer into the preterite yo form, we'll drop the ER ending and add I with the accent over the top. To conjugate comer into the to form, we'll drop the I and add iste, which would mean you ate. For the el, ea, or usted form, drop the E stay and add EO with an accent over the O, which would mean he, she ate. To conjugate comer into the nosotros preterite form, you drop the ER and add emos. And lastly, to conjugate comer into the preterite eos, or ustedes form, you drop the ER and add eron. When conjugating into the preterite form, there are several irregular verbs that do not follow the same rules as the other verbs. A list: the irregular verbs in the preterite form are ir or ser, querer, venir, poner, saber, conducir, dar, estar, hacer, decir, traer, andar, tener, ver, and poder.
There are several rules for stem changing in the preterite, one of which is that AR verbs and ER verbs don't stem change. Only IR verbs stem change in the preterite. Stem changing also only occurs in the third person, for both singular and plural. The changes are that whenever you have a vowel, an O will change to a U. Also, if you have an E, it will change to an I. If there's more than one vowel in the stem change, you're going to want to change the vowel that is closest to the end of the stem. Some AR verbs have a spelling change when they're in the yo form of the preterite tense. Those are verbs that end in CAR, GAR, and ZIR. All of the other forms of these verbs are regular and do not have a spelling change. In order to construct the spelling change, you must first drop the CAR, ZAR, or GAR from the end of your word. Next, you're going to add the conjugation. The CAR will switch to QUE. The ZAR will switch to GUE. And the ZAR will switch to CE. An example of a stem changing verb is dormir. When you stem change dormir in the third person to the L or ea, it changes to dormio. Dormio would mean that he or she slept. Another way to change it to the third person plural form is dormieron. Dormieron means they slept. An example of this type of spelling change occurring in the preterite tense is buscar, which means to look. In order to change this, you first drop the CAR. Once removing the CAR, you add QUE. You now have busqué, which means I looked for. Another example of this type of spelling change occurring is in the verb jugar, which means to play. First, you drop the GAR. Once removed, you add GUE. This is now jugué, which means I played. A final example of this type of spelling changing occurring is in almorzar, which means to have lunch. First, you drop the ZAR. After dropping the ZAR, you add CE. You now have almorcé, which means I ate lunch. ER and IR verbs that end in a vowel after the stem change have a spelling change as well. The change is that I-O, or EO, changes to Y-O, or yo. Hieron also changes to Hieron. Also, you should add accent marks on all I's throughout the conjugations. An example of this type of spelling change would be with leer. Leer means to read. You first drop the ER. You then add YO. Your verb now means he or she read. In order to make it a third person plural change, you drop the ER and add Hieron. You now have they read. Now you know Pretérito.